narration presented by yours truly, Cryptidsroost. If you enjoyed this story, please be so kind as hit the like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. This will help with YouTube's algorithm, which will in turn help promote the channel more. Now, even though I'm not yet monetized by YouTube, I have created some awesome merch for you guys. So please be so kind as to visit redbubble.com/people/cryptids-roost and grab yourself a t-shirt, face mask, hoodie, mug, or whatever else grabs your fancy. The link is in the description. And if you would like an honourable mention, take a snapshot of yourself with your purchase from the merch store and I'll feature it in one of my videos. Finally, go grab yourself a coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. The government is hiding many secrets. I am one of them. This brilliant story is written by Devil Raven KOG, an author over on Reddit's NoSleep. 7th of July 2010. My name is Ghost666. That was the name given to me at birth. It sounds strange, I know. Which parent would name their child like that? Well, the truth is, I am no one's child. I am simply a clone created by the American government. I was cloned from a Bulgarian woman's DNA sample and have been trained since birth. The only difference between me and regular people is that I am physically and mentally superior due to the modified DNA. Now you're going to ask, why would the government make clones? The answer is quite simple. We clones are cheap to make, superior to humans, and as docile and obedient as you can get. We were made with the sole purpose of cheap slave labour. The total count of clones is around 1% of the whole world's population. Not every clone is the same. We are all made from different DNA samples and are trained and modified differently for different jobs. And of course there are those of us who are made for everything. I am one of the clones made for all kinds of tasks. I can go through the whole list, but I just simply don't have that time. My next training session is starting soon, so I will just explain why I am given such a stupid name. Every clone has their own nickname like Ghost, Forester, Hunter, Lucky, etc. These nicknames are chosen by the scientists who created us. The number on the back are simply our birth dates. For example, I was officially born, or created, on the 6th of June 1996. Therefore, my birth number is 666. I was born a female, and as you might have already guessed, I am currently 14 years old. You can recognise me by my black as pitch black hair, blue ocean eyes, freckles all over my face, and the wide scar that goes across my face. That's all the time I have for today, but I will return at a later date. 8th of December 2010. The last few months have been really tough on me. Since I am one of the specialised for everything clones, the scientists and commanding officers of the laboratory have really high expectations on me, and I do not want to let them down. The reason for that is every clone born with a disability or not being able to achieve what is suspected of them are being sent to secret camps for their destruction. I can't allow myself to fail, otherwise I'd be one of those who met their end in a godforsaken edge of this world. The training I had to go through was mostly physical. I am tested on how much weight I can lift with more and more pressure constantly being added. I somehow managed to pass without getting squashed into a bloody corpse. The other training, if you can call it that, was test of immunity. I was being constantly injected with all kinds of viruses, bacteria and poisons. Thank God I was created with a strong immune system, otherwise I would have already died from that. The next test was health resistance. They literally put me in a chamber without an exit, which constantly kept changing temperature, with the lowest being minus 100 degrees Celsius and the hottest being plus 100 degrees Celsius. I don't know how I survived that. When the temperatures went that extreme, I literally felt like I was going to freeze, then melt. That test continued 9 days of constant temperature change. After that, I had to go to my psychiatrist, who would check on my mentality after all that. Luckily, I didn't show any symptoms of any mental problems. Now I know you're probably going to say that sounds like hell that I went through. Yes, these tests are quite tough, and I had to go through them every once in a while. However, this test period wasn't that bad. I actually managed to make some friends. The people I befriended was Violet 506, Fury 996, and Izia 1216. Since we were all born in the same year and were all specialised in everything clones, we got close really fast. Violet 506 was called that because of her natural purple eyes and purple dyed hair. Fury is a strong male clone with black brown eyes and red hair, who had very big anger issues. Therefore, he was named Fury. Izia is a blonde female clone with green eyes. She was named Izia after the deceased daughter of the scientist who created her. Well, that's all I went through this time. Next year I will be able to start my job. Ghost out. 5th of April 2011. Yes, we all got our jobs at St. Peter Laboratory, which is located at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. This is one of the top labs owned by the United States of America. It is highly secured and holds some of the most unique and dangerous experiments. A lot of these creatures here are monsters, demons and spirits caught in the overworld by the hunters. There are also a lot of aliens who escaped areas 51, 78, 66 and 96. These areas are the top most secured alien and mutant containment based labs in the world, and the aliens who escaped from there were in fact the most dangerous ones. My and Fury's jobs are security guards in Containment Block 09, which houses creatures like the Jersey Devil. Violet and Izia were made into scientists and moved to the research part of the facility as they were the smart ones in our group. 12th of December 2012. During our work shift today, something interesting happened. It started as a regular boring day, observing all the cells and the creatures in them to make sure none are planning to escape. "This is going to be fun," said Fury sarcastically. His face had annoyance written all over it. I asked him, "What is?" He quickly responded with, "General Black will come to check on how us clones are working." I said, "We are doing our job correctly, so I don't know what you're so upset about." Fury giggled and told me, "I think that your scientist should have called you Slave 2.0, since you're all about memorizing the protocol and following the rules." I knew he was joking because he always loved to make jokes about our position as slaves of the government. I am just simply trying to do my best to not get killed by the system. Fury, on the other hand, was quite rebellious. He liked to cause trouble. One time he had so many strikes on his record that if I hadn't sneaked myself into the office where they kept our records and deleted it, he would have already been sent to be destroyed. In case you were wondering, my scientist called me Ghost because I was special when it came to sneak attacks, ambushes, traps and escaping. In my earliest years I escaped 20 times. The reason why I didn't get destroyed was because my scientist took the blame, and so she was demoted to a simple janitor. However, my skills proved useful when it came to tracking down escapists or finding holes in the security, so she quickly got a job back because it was assumed she taught me all that. Don't give my scientist hell for using me to get a job back. She is like a mother to me, because she always made sure that I'd get the easiest way out of the tests. Other clones went and are still going through far worse than I did. Besides, my scientist kept buying me presents and taking care of me like I was her own daughter. Sadly, I never got to learn her name as attachments were forbidden in my home lab. This whole caring thing had to go in secret, otherwise we both would have gotten punished. Anyway, I'm going out of context. What happened was that many of the creatures started escaping and killing anyone who they saw. I took my shotgun and started blasting at them to give the people and clones the time to escape. I had only taken the stun bullets because I am forbidden to kill no matter what. Fury was covering my back while we went through the whole 09 containment block
and stopped any creature attacking the staff. We finally went in the research part of the 09 block. The problem in there was that a failed dinosaur experiment had broken loose and started attacking the people and clones working in the room. We were in a predicament since we had to choose between saving our friends or saving two human scientists who, rank-wise, were far superior than them. Of course, we chose saving our friends. The aftermath of the incident was 4 human casualties and 12 clone casualties. I was furious to say the least, as the humans had used our kind to get to safety while the clones were being ripped apart. Sadly, I couldn't do anything about it. Or I can't do anything about it, right now anyway. October 15th, 2013. A lot has happened since my last entry here. Violet and Izio were both made senior research experts, which was one of the greatest honours given to a clone. They now could make inventions to help mankind progress, and maybe someday that same progress could win freedom for our people. Fury was made Chief of Security, which means he is responsible for basically everything that happens in the laboratory when it came to the well-being of everyone in the facility. And now you may be wondering what happened to me. Well, in the January and May we had so many problems with escaping creatures which led to many casualties. I managed to get them all back into their cells, and even the ones who somehow managed to get back on the surface. I tracked those down too and got them back in the laboratory. Because of my skills, I was promoted to a monster hunter, which meant I could go outside whenever I am called on duty and track down to either kill or contain the target. My first capture was a Chinese dragon, which had escaped from a facility in Japan. Thankfully, I managed to track it down and contain it before any damage was done. The dragons have thick scales, which makes it impossible for a dart filled with sleep chemicals to get into their bloodstream and actually do something. I had to gas the damn things with a sleeping agent, so I did. I scared it off with a bright flashing lights and loud sounds into a forested area away from civilization. There I had to set a gas bomb with a detonator, which set it off as soon as the dragon went near it. When it comes to my first kill, I had to go and kill a pack of skinwalkers, which wasn't an easy task. I had to use some fresh meat to lure them into the trap, so I did just that. I killed some sheep and cows, gutted them so the smell would attract the skinwalkers, and placed them near the cave where they had nested. I hid on top of a faraway tree and loaded my sniper rifle. When the creatures came out, I waited for them to start eating, then waited some more for them to get so focused on eating that they wouldn't be aware of their surroundings. That's when I shot. Bang, bang, bang! 3 of the 10 creatures fell down. The other skinwalkers were so confused that they started looking around searching for me, but they couldn't find me. Bang, 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 bang! 4 more of the creatures dropped dead. The skinwalkers started running away afraid, but my trigger finger was quicker. Bang, bang, bang! And the rest dropped dead as well. Those were just 2 of my missions, but sadly that's all I can say here, as most of my other missions were classified. I'm just going to say that these missions have had me cleaning up the Queen's bullshit. April 20th, 2017. I am officially fed up with the humans' bullshit. Killing monsters I understand, but capturing children for test experiments? Fuck off, Black. November 13th, 2017. The latest tasks weren't bearable. I was tasked with killing people and covering it up. I had to kill 12 agents who had escaped and 30 military deserters who had just wanted to see their families. At this point, people are just using me as a hitman to kill those who speak out against the system. I don't hunt monsters and demons anymore. I'm used to hunt humans and clones, and lately all my missions are only titled with execute target. Then they give the name, age and appearance and where they were last seen. Also my capture missions were to take children for experimenting.
My job has changed from what it originally was. I used to be so excited when I took it. Now I'm angered by all the things I'm forced to do. It's all Black's fault. He is the one who's given me all those jobs. Ever since my owner, my scientist, was forced to sell me to Black, I have been nothing but his personal hitman. I am sick of my job. but I cannot just quit. Black would just find someone else to kill me. Anyway, at least there are a few things going on alright for now. Violet and Fury got together. Fury was so nervous. The whole week he was just asking me for advice. It was so funny. He confessed just yesterday, and Violet was quite surprised, but she did accept, as she was quite fond of him too. I am so happy for them, mainly because they are my best friends and we've been through hell together. Also, my scientist was transferred to this lab's research centre, which was one of the most important parts of the whole building. And I finally managed to learn her name, Blair. Her name is Blair. I am so happy to finally know the name of my mother. And now, since she isn't my owner, we can openly show that we are mother and daughter. Attachments in St. Peter's lab were forbidden only when it came to clones falling in love with humans. Same for the other way round. However, mother-daughter type of attachments weren't forbidden, so it was no problem for me to call her mom. February 21st, 2018. This next job I took with great pleasure. It was an order by the President himself. Apparently, General Black had insulted the President, and so the President himself asked me to take care of him. I smirked and replied, "Consider it done, sir." Black didn't have a quick death. Oh no, I wouldn't give him that mercy. Instead, I took him to the research part of the containment block 13, which had the most brutal experiment of all. I made sure to skin the General's face and rip out his tongue so no one would recognize him by face or voice. I tasked the scientists to do anything they want with him, and they did. He suffered all the horrors his victims had to go through while I stood behind the glass screen, watched and laughed. I knew he finally got what he deserved. In the end, what remained of him was fed to the Wendigos kept in the containment block. After that, I went back to the surface and made sure to delete all his social media accounts and erase any trace of the General. My final act of revenge was stealing all his files and burning his house down. So I went back to my apartment in the housing section of St. Peter's laboratory and started going through all the lists of people he had victimised. I wasn't that surprised to see most of them, since I had to carry out the executions myself. However, I was still baffled by the horrific end of some of the people who were on his list. January 9th, 2019. I've been back to my previous job hunting monsters and demons and killing them on the spot or containing them for experimenting. However, now I have something on my mind. After looking more into all the files Black had, I found out about contacts with aliens and even contacts with the devil himself. Not only that, humans have made new weapons of mass destruction, some of which are hidden in here, the lab I live in. There are also many discoveries like new diseases created by humans. I don't get the humans. Why are they so filled with hate? Why do they kill each other like that? Who cares about someone's religion, gender, sexuality, skin colour or nationality? Why would you hate someone just because they're different? Why would you attack or kill someone just because they are not like you? I think that humans need to stop and ask themselves these questions. Maybe if they had earlier, some horrific event would never have happened. Lately, I have started to feel as maybe humans shouldn't have been created by God or nature or whatever. They kill their own kind and they kill the whole planet, and the governments are hiding planets that are all just like Earth, and the whole fact that we can get to them in 3 months. But maybe it's for the best. Maybe if humans die out on Earth, those other planets will be safe. January 19th, 2019. I saw Azia getting punched by one of the other scientists who work at her place. All she did was speak her mind. She told them that what they were doing is dangerous, but they told her to shut up and leave them alone. She insisted, and then one of them turned around and said, "I don't think a clone should tell her superiors what to do." To which she responded with, "You're the inferior one here. I was bred, trained and raised for this job, while you took it with your daddy's money." He got that angry and punched her in the face. She stepped back and said, "I have went through worse than that. Nothing you can do to hurt me as the people who experimented on me back on my home laboratory." He was going to punch her again, but I stepped in, grabbing his wrist and stopping him from hitting her. "Let go off of me, you dumb bitch," he yelled while trying to free himself. I asked, "Who's superior now, you stupid human?" Then I squeezed so hard I could hear his bones crack. He yelled in pain and pleaded for me to let him go. So I did, and then I punched him so hard I shattered his jaw. His colleagues were watching in horror, unable to move, as the only way out was past me. "Ghost, that's enough," said Azia with surprisingly a calm voice. I nodded and looked at the others. I placed the finger to my mouth, making the stay quiet gesture, so they did. None of them spoke up about what happened. They were smart. I knew their faces, and if they had tried to say anything about what happened, well, let's just say they won't be able to even open their mouths, as it would be filling with their blood. January 29th, 2019. I got closer with Azia after the work incident. The one thing about her is that she is always so calm. Sometimes I wondered if she has any emotions at all. However, I already know the answer to that question. She's been through the same as everyone else, and she has been through even worse than me, Violet and Fury. Her scientist lost her daughter and wanted to make Azia perfect. And by perfect, I mean emotionless and physically better than the rest of us. That actually explains why she barely shows emotions. Her scientist always punished her because of emotions. Azia was being beaten on a daily basis, mostly if she shows any signs of sadness. Since her scientist lost a child because of depression, he wanted to make Azia emotionless. He did somewhat succeed, as Azia has emotions but almost never shows them. I have always tried to make her show them, but I rarely have any success. I do manage to make her smile, however, mostly with my dark stories with happy endings. I spend all my free time with Azia, even more with her than with Fury and Violet. Well, what do you expect? Violet and Fury are a couple, and they spend more time with each other than with us. Anyway, alright, maybe I do have some feelings for Azia. August 20th, 2019. Azia got changed to Monster Hunter after she asked to get her job changed. The reason was discrimination on the workplace. She did alright. Now I have a sidekick to help me with my work. Azia is doing a great job. I am so proud of her. 1st of September 2019. Something isn't right. Clones are disappearing left and right with no apparent reason. 20th of September 2019. I found out what was happening with the clone disappearances. I followed one of the human scientists into the deepest part of the laboratory. It wasn't easy, and I had to make fake documents and steal scientists' clothing from the laundry room. But the important thing is that I got in. This was a zombie containment block. There were many different types, with the most common one being the walker, or your regular slow dumbass zombie. But there were some really dangerous ones like the puker or the bloater. There were also animal zombies, like zombie dogs, cats, bears, tigers, deer, sheep, etc. There was a whole army of them, so many that I couldn't even count. But the one that caught my attention was the memory type zombie, or zombie 501. These ones were strong, fast, agile, and could use weapons such as firearms, baseball bats, axes, knives, etc. They could even use tools to construct their own weapons. These weren't simple zombies, they were clones infected with the virus. The virus mutates differently in different bodies, but it makes every clone a zombie 501. I was going to be sick. The scientists weren't just simply infecting clones, they were throwing them in cells with zombies to see the results. I got most of the information by listening to the scientists, but I found a computer with all the zombie types, all the victims, all the symptoms, all of the infections, and all the ways to kill the undead. I downloaded all the files on a flash drive and quickly snuck out before anyone could notice who I really was. September 25th, 2019. I went through all the files and read everything front to back and showed it to my friends and my mother. We all agreed that we must do something. It was clear as day that the government wanted zombies as soldiers who would do anything no matter what it takes. First off, we quickly contacted all the clones in the building and told them about what was going on and be aware of what might happen to them. After we did that, we started contacting all clones around the world. In the end, there was no one who didn't know what is happening. The clone leaders, Keo 787, Slick 13125, Echo 555, and me agreed that it is time something was to be done. We started by organising ourselves to destroy all the laboratories, but of also saving all the innocents in them. December 24th, 2019. All humans left the facilities. Like always, we clones were the ones who had to work on the holidays while they eat, drink and have fun. Only the clone lovers, as humans call them, were left. They were the only people who knew about us and supported us at the same time. They joined our cause. I sighed with relief when I heard that we had some more people on our side. We made the following plan. First, we will free all creatures locked in human labs, bunkers and bases. Second, we will take the DSAOE, which was a simple titanium container which had all DNA samples of all creatures, both extinct and alive, stored in it. Every creature that has ever stepped on Earth and every plant that has ever grown on Earth and even every microscopic organism that has ever been on Earth was contained in that little 3-inch box-like container. Third, we will take over Area Delta, which contained the spacecraft we'd need to get to the other planet. We already have the plans, now we just need a way to get to the destination. And last but not least, I will leave my diary. Yes, the thing you're reading right now. I will leave it to spread awareness of what has been happening. 25th of December 2019. While packing my things and preparing to blow up the place, I was touched on the shoulder. "Oh hi, Izia," I said when I saw her behind me with her hands behind her back. She was looking at me and I could tell that she was actually happy. She was smiling. "Hey Ghost," she mumbled nervously. I asked her if everything was alright and she replied with, yes, of course." Then without giving me the chance to ask, she told me how happy she is. She couldn't believe we are finally moving to a better place. I looked at her smiling face, both the cheeks blushing. I'd never seen her like this. I was actually surprised that the nearly emotionless Izia was now openly showing her happiness. Now this may have been a bit of a moronic move on for me, but it was then that I asked her, "By the way, do you like anyone?" When the words came out of my mouth, I nearly hit myself by the stupid shit I had just said. She replied with, "Yes, I do." I looked down thinking to myself that there was no way in hell that this was me, but that's when it happened. Izia kissed me, something I didn't expect was ever going to happen. It was that day we got together. December 31st, 2019. We managed to blow all the labs in the world, with the exception with Area 51, which we couldn't, but it doesn't matter. All creatures were released and were causing enough distraction to the government that we all, both clones and clone-respecting humans, ran into Area Delta. We started to get in, but that's when it happened. Thousands of soldiers started to appear out of nowhere and started attacking us. We had weapons too, so a mini-war played out with us eventually achieving victory. We all went into the spacecraft and launched into the sky. However, we didn't go that far. We landed on Mars. It was by my command. I knew we had a traitor there, so there was no way all these soldiers just came out of nowhere. That's when I heard a gunshot and searched for it, only to find that it was my mother. She was killed. "No! Mother!" The words couldn't even come out of my mouth. I looked around and saw bloody footsteps leading to the reactor room. I followed them. Fury and Izia caught up with me and the three of us went into the room only to discover her. 1st of December 2020. It was already 00:01 AM and the new year had come. Happiness for all humans below us and tragedy for us. The one who had called the government telling them about our location and our plans, and now who planted bombs onto the main reactor was Violet. Fury yelled, "But why?" He knew it was her just as much as I and Azia knew. Violet responded, simply to do what I was always meant to do. I was created to serve mankind, same as all of you, and so now I will do my duty and save it from those who oppose it. She pointed the handgun at me and said, I will start by eliminating the one who started this rebellion. She shot, but I was quicker than her finger and dodged the bullet. I ran towards her, but this time, when she shot, I wasn't quick enough, and so the bullet went directly into my chest. I fell to the floor, struggling to take a breath. She aimed at my skull, but before she managed to do anything, Fury ran into her, knocking her down. She got up and the two started fighting. While this was happening, Izia pulled me out of the room and ran towards a medical room. The last thing I heard before I passed out were 2 gunshots. January 2nd, 2020. I woke up at an unknown place. It seemed to be a bedroom of some sort. I got up and looked around, noticing that the bedroom was actually a tent. I went outside and saw the aircraft just next to my tent. I started looking about and saw all the clones and humans working together building homes. We were in the middle of a field surrounded by forest and mountains. I knew that we were on Izira, the planet we were going to. I looked around more and that's when I noticed Izia, who was carrying her food to the workers. I went to her. She was happy to see that I am okay, but being the caring person she is, she told me that I should rest. I asked her, what about Violet and Fury? Izia looked down and said Fury got shot while fighting her, but he managed to take the gun and shoot her right between the eyes. Fury survived, but she didn't. I hugged her, knowing well that she was deeply hurt by what Violet did. At the end of the day, we found our home. Now our scientists are finding ways to make the plants and animals from the DSAOE into actual living creatures here on Izira. Meanwhile, I'm finishing my diary, hoping that when I send it back to Earth, a human who isn't working for the government will find it and show it to everyone else and show them just how horrible the governments are. So for one last time, Ghost out.
Wow, that was an awesome story. Now if you enjoyed listening to this narrative, be sure to pop over to the author's Reddit profile, Devil Raven KOG, and drop them a line, or even give them a glowing review. The link to their Reddit profile will be below in the description. And thank you for listening. Now if you did enjoy this narration, then please feel free to like and share the video, leave a comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. Now even though I'm not yet monetized by YouTube, I have created some awesome merch for you guys. So please be so kind as to visit redbubble.com/people/cryptids-roost and grab yourself a t-shirt, face mask, mug, hoodie or whatever else grabs your fancy. There's plenty there to choose from. The link will be in the description. Now if you would like an honourable mention, send in a snapshot of yourself with your purchase from the merch store and I'll feature it in one of my videos. Now have you written a creepypasta story you'd like me to narrate? Or have you had any cryptid sightings, paranormal or supernatural encounters? You can submit your stories and encounters to cryptidsroost@gmail.com, and if you wish to remain anonymous, that's fine with me. I also have a Facebook group, Twitter, Reddit, and I'm on Discord. Now if you would like to support this channel and help make it grow, my PayPal is paypal.me/cryptidsroost. Again, that'll be below. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not.